In this video, you're going to see how to wrap the front bumper on this Kia Sorento using tools and color change material from our vinyl. This particular bumper has a lot of edges that will be wrapped, so be sure to take a tucking tool in a microfiber towel, clean these first, then once all the edges are clean, then focus on the main surface area, especially on the underside. This bumper will be wrapped on the body, which is always the best option. So put masking tape on all edges so the material can be tucked in nice and easy. Then spread the material out from side to side. Always make sure there's enough, top to bottom, left to right. Release the liner, roughly 1 foot, secure it to the fender and the tire. Then roll up the other side with the liner on. This means that you can hold the material and pull the backing paper in increments. Heat the material until there's no wrinkles on the face. Then lock it on to a body line. This separates the top and bottom of the front bumper. Now continue this process all the way to the other side. Heat the film till it becomes soft and pliable. Stretch the film along that body line, in this case tacking it on the bottom, pulling towards the top. Once the material is glassed out, lock it right into the body line. On this back section here, now that the liner is fully released, heat the material, stand up and stretch the material evenly back to the edge. Then on the top section and bottom section, simply pull the material up and all the wrinkles will disappear. Once everything's been set on that body line, now it's time to form the material deeper into the bumper. Put on an application glove, form the film into the recessed area and work the material up until it gets super tight. Make a relief cut carefully on the masking tape. This will allow the material then to relax further into this vent area. Take a squeegee and feed it into the recessed area first. Once it's fed into the recessed area, then tuck it into the side. Hold the material away with a free hand, and with even squeegee strokes, relax the material all the way to the base. So it's a combination of recessed areas first, make a relief cut, then tuck it into the base. Once the film is formed into those areas, again, focus on relaxing the material in. Never bridge the material and jam it. So here another relief cut is made on this section, so working in sections is smart. Never try to do everything at one time. Always work in 1 to 2 foot sections. This will help manage the film and keep it from overstretching. And as you can see, that masking tape plays a big role in allowing the material to be picked up and tucked into the base. So it's all about technique and focus. For the outside edge here, pick the material up, tuck it into the molding with a tucking tool, then come in and cut it safely away. The blade is running alongside the car, not on the car. Once the cut has been made, always come back in with the tucking tool and seal the deal. Once this outside edge is done, always add heat to activate the adhesive so it holds the edge, and continue on. So here for this groove, come back, tuck it very deep with the tucking tool, and cut the excess film away. Notice the angle of the blade is away from the edge, which allows it to be tucked farther in the gap. And as you can see, using both sides of the tucking tool is key. Once this side is set, now we can move on to the underside. Heat is added to relax the film, and then it's squeegeed around the section that's sticking out. The section that's sticking out is rubber, so it's not going to be wrapped, so once the material is tucked in, it's cut safely away. Once everything's been tucked along the bottom section, now we focus on the top. Here the material is being carefully lifted away from the light and tucked into the base. Always make sure you hold the material safely away from the section that's not being wrapped so the material can relax into the edge. This is what's called a tuck and cut. You can use the buffer side to set the material up, the hard side of the squeegee or a tucking tool to get the material in deep enough. Then cut everything away safely with a sharp blade, in this case the NT Cutter knife using a 30-degree blade. All can be purchased from our vinyl. And here, once the cut has been made, always seal the deal from left to right. One of the final sections to cut out on the front bumper is this open vent at the front. So here the material is cut at the top and bottom of the rubber molding. The excess film has been removed, and now the film is tucked into the base. Notice that this section has been done first. It's what's called the mouth, so always feed the mouth first, then work the flat sections. Once everything's down nice and tight, you can see that with the right techniques you can get absolute full coverage and there's no need to take off a lot of hardware. And once everything has been cut out, go over the area with a heat gun to double check for bubbles and to make sure all the edges are 100% sealed. And now here's a shot of the final result, and it's all thanks to tips and tricks that come from the Wrap Institute coupled with great tools and material, and they all come from Arvinyl.